Hello, I'm Terrence Walker, Jedi Knight and independent animator. Okay, I might not be a Jedi, but I do know something about independent animation, comics, filmmaking, games, and things like that. And what I wanted to do with this video series was create the quickest way that I could imagine to be able to talk to you about things that are happening in our industry, new tools and software that are coming out, things that will help anyone who wants to create their own animation, film, game, comic, whatever creative endeavor it is that you want to do. I want to be able to talk about everything that's going on because in many cases, I come across information on the internet or out here in China where I am at the moment, things that I see at conventions, and I want to be able to quickly get this information out to the world. And I've been doing this for years through my blog, and sometimes it's just not fast enough. Sometimes I don't have the ability to get to the right computer to be able to get to ways to upload things. But today we have a lot of new tools to be able to quickly record an HD video like I'm doing on my laptop right now, to be able to get it up on YouTube, to be able to link it on Facebook. So I believe there are easier ways to get information out to people. And that's going to be the main point of this series and a main point of what I like to call the indie life. And what is the indie life? Well, the indie life is a way that you can take control of your destiny through your own creative ability. If you've ever had a dream of being able to use your skill as an artist to do comics, games, animation, and be able to actually make a living, and I am going to talk about how you can actually make money doing what you love to do, then this is going to be a series that will actually look at all the different ways that that is possible. And this time, in my first video here, I want to talk a bit about game engine rendering. Now, what is it about game engine rendering that might be important? Well, I'm going to start with a bit of a story. I think it was about almost 2 years ago. I had a little office. Some of it you may have seen in my Chaos Retro video when I did a version of the Making of Understanding Chaos, my first independent animated project. And in that office, I was working on a number of projects, and near it was a small restaurant. It was a little mom and pop restaurant. This is in a small province in the southern China. And I would go into this restaurant usually to get some form of takeout for lunch or dinner. And when I went in there, the boss, she was the owner, but also did the cooking herself. She had a son who appeared to be around 6 or 7 years old. And one day I went in there, and there was a TV in the back, and he was watching Kung Fu Panda. And I thought, that's interesting. They have Kung Fu Panda in China, dubbed in Chinese. Next day, I went back to get lunch, and he was watching Kung Fu Panda again. And day after day, I would see this, and of course, eventually it dawned on me that there was a Kung Fu Panda TV series, which I had to then go and look into. Now, my own daughter is approaching 3 years old, and she loves to watch this. So now I've seen a lot of it because it's playing almost constantly when she's here. And we watch together sometimes and laugh. I don't know how much she actually understands of it, but obviously the slapstick humor works well for her. But so now I've seen a lot of this show, and one of the things I've thought about, although I can't confirm, but it appears to be done with game engine rendering. Because the show was started around 2011, I don't know for certain that it was done in game engine rendering, but it does look that way. I mean, you do see the lower poly elements, the backgrounds a lot of times. Some of them are actually very blocky. What's interesting is the look is really cool. And when I first saw it, I actually thought it looked the same as the film because I hadn't seen the film in a long time. And I went back and looked at the films, and I was actually surprised at the difference because, of course, in the film there's a lot more detail. The characters actually have fur. These are things that they're not doing in the TV series. And, of course, it makes sense. You wouldn't try to do these things in the TV series just for time, for rendering time. But I actually think the TV show character looks cuter. Like if I was going to buy a toy for my daughter, I would want it to look like the TV series Panda. I think it's a little bit cuter. But the thing about game engine rendering, and there's a very popular show here in China. The English name is Boonie Bears, which definitely is done in game engine rendering. Now, the technology has improved a lot over time. Just recently, like in the last couple of days, I think someone had sent me the trailer for Uncharted 4, the PlayStation 4 game, part of a very popular franchise. All of the games since the beginning have looked amazingly good, but when you look at Uncharted 4 and imagine this is real time, I saw a comment where someone said they were playing this, and when it goes from cinematic into gameplay, they simply cannot believe that this is gameplay, but it is. And when you look at the quality of the images in this trailer, you realize that game engine rendering is here, it's now, it's going to change everything. Currently, you have Unreal 4 engine is free. It's not incredibly difficult to use, from what I understand. I've worked with some people and companies here in China that are taking advantage of it. In the past, me and a partner of mine here in China were working with a company from Scotland who were working on a Unreal 3 engine based game engine render. The idea was that TV series producers, anyone who wanted to do extremely dense episodic content, would be able to rely on game engine rendering for the amazing speed that it gives you. I mean, I want to quickly take a look at this show, Boonie Bears. Going online, and you see the number of episodes that they have. Now, I believe the episodes here are 15 minutes, whereas in American TV shows, episodes are 22 minutes. Some are getting shorter and shorter because of more commercials. There are some episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender or Legend of Korra that are only 19 minutes. But look how many episodes this show has, and they're just constantly pumping out new episodes. And this is made possible partly because rendering is not costing them anything. Some of the people that I've known and worked with in the past worked on shows like Roughneck Starship Troopers Chronicles, and you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. The difference in technology in trying to get a TV show out that has really good quality. So now you have these tools which are just giving you amazing visual quality in a game engine render, meaning it renders in real time or very close to it, depending on what you put on the screen. Can this help you create your show? I believe it can. Of course, it matters how you use it, what you're modeling in, but the tools now exist. For example, Moto 10 came out not too long ago and has a lot more game-centric features. But this also means that if you want to create a show, your own animated series or a film using game engine rendering, you now have the option of Moto 10 and Unreal Engine 4 to do that. So game engine technology is really going to be a game changer. Anyway, that's the kind of stuff I really want to look at and talk about in detail over the course of this series, because there's just so much happening out there now that it's easier to put together a video, to be able to show you the clips, the things that I've seen. And also, because of my trusty tablet, I can also go out to these conventions and shoot some of the things that are happening and be able to bring them to you. So I hope this series is going to be helpful to anyone who has a dream to create their own show, to create their own comic, to create their own projects, and get to the point where you are controlling how you live and work by making money doing what you love to do. And that's what I'm hoping to bring you with this Indie Life video series. So I hope to have more great information for you coming soon.
What if there was a way for you to create the animation projects of your dreams faster than any studio could possibly do so? What if there was a way for you to create high-quality, finished shots in minutes? There is such a way, and these Anagen Final Secrets videos will teach you exactly how to do so.
I want to talk about some of the little things that you can do to add that extra dimension, that extra level of quality to your cel-shaded animation using this WYSIWYG method. And as for shading, by the way, I have my OpenGL generally set to one tone. You can choose two tones, which will work with this light here to give you some semblance of shading. In the past, I often used the lower res ball, but that was in Poser 6 or 7. I have a tool which I can easily push, pull, and move some points around and make different eyebrow shapes. Such a simple little model, something that would never work in full 3D. This belt comes from another character. This gun comes from another character. All these pouches
Now, the interesting thing is, there is no character like this that you can buy. You could take an item like this and you could begin to use it for any character. Look at this highlight in the eye. This highlight in the eye is in fact an object. And you can do this in pretty much any 3D software, because almost every 3D software I've heard of will have a polygon reduction tool. Just look at the speed. Even on my computer, which is certainly not the fastest computer in the world.
You think you got what it takes?
The Talk Designer is another tool that you can use, and that's the thing that is important about this WYSIWYG method of working. Quality is certainly a good thing, but speed is also amazing. So you get both of how well this method looks and how fast you're able to create. And so just like that, you have the fully detailed character and you have a completed shot done so quickly and you're ready to render. You can really realize the power that comes to you through this WYSIWYG method of working, and it will allow you to create everything that you ever dreamed of creating in a speed that you never imagined you could create it with. So this is Anagen Final Secrets.